Welcome to the channel, The Coin Merchant, where your pocket change could be hiding a fortune that most people will never discover in their entire lifetime. And today we're diving into a coin so deceptively ordinary that millions of Americans have held it, spent it, and never given it a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific version of this humble penny could be worth an absolutely staggering $19 million? Yes, you heard that right, $19 million for a single penny. This is the legendary 1999 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that looks identical to billions of others minted that same year, yet hidden among the masses are a few extraordinary specimens that have become the holy grail for collectors worldwide. And before we dive deep into what makes this particular penny so incredibly valuable, I need you to do something crucial right now. Check your piggy banks, your old coin jars, your car's cup holders, because finding one of these could literally change your life forever. And here's the thing that makes this even more exciting. We've got two more pennies coming up in this video that are worth even more than this one, including one that sold for a price so astronomical it made international headlines and left even seasoned numismatists absolutely speechless. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you why the 1999 D. Lincoln penny has collectors losing their minds and why you need to start searching through your change immediately. The story of the 1999 D. Lincoln penny begins at the Denver Mint, indicated by that small D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. And 1999 was a significant year in American coinage history for several reasons. Not only were we approaching the new millennium with all the excitement and uncertainty that brought, but the U.S. Mint was producing billions upon billions of pennies to meet the demands of an economy that was absolutely booming during the dot-com era. The Denver facility alone struck over 6 billion Lincoln cents that year, making the 1999 D penny incredibly common in circulation. You've probably handled hundreds if not thousands of them without ever realizing it, but here's where things get absolutely fascinating and where fortunes are made or lost based on knowledge. Among those billions of ordinary pennies, a small number were struck with errors, variations, and unique characteristics that transformed them from mundane pocket change into numismatic treasures worth more than luxury cars, beachfront properties, and in the most extreme cases, more than most people earn in their entire working lives. The 1999 D. Lincoln penny that reached that mind-blowing $19 million valuation wasn't just any error coin, it was a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical significance, and understanding what makes it special requires us to dive into the fascinating world of mint errors, grading standards, and the passionate community of collectors who dedicate their lives to finding these hidden gems. So what exactly are we looking for when we examine a 1999 D. penny? The most valuable varieties include the wide AM designation, where the letters A and M in America on the reverse side are spaced farther apart than normal. This occurred when the mint accidentally used a proof die intended for collector sets on regular circulation strikes, creating a hybrid that should never have existed. And when I say collectors go crazy for these, I mean they will pay thousands of dollars even for circulated examples, but we're not talking about thousands here, we're talking about millions. And that only happens when you combine this rare variety with absolutely flawless preservation. We're talking about a coin that somehow, miraculously, escaped the harsh realities of circulation, a penny that was never dropped, never scraped against other coins, never exposed to the oils and acids from human hands, never tarnished or spotted, a coin that looks exactly as it did the moment it left the dies at the Denver Mint over 2 decades ago. In the numismatic world, this level of preservation is measured by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, and they use a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely perfect. Now here's the thing, getting a grade of MS 70 or PR 70 for a circulation strike penny is almost impossible. The minting process itself often leaves tiny imperfections, microscopic bag marks from coins clinking together, subtle striking weaknesses, or minor spots and blemishes, which is why a true MS 70 1999 D. wide AM Lincoln penny is so phenomenally rare that most collectors will never even see one in person. And when one does surface, when a coin this perfect emerges from an old collection or is discovered in an unopened mint set, the numismatic community erupts with excitement, auction houses start preparing for record-breaking sales, and collectors with deep pockets begin strategizing how they can add this ultimate trophy to their collections. The $19 million 1999 D. Lincoln penny didn't just achieve its astronomical value because of its rarity alone, it became a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of how extraordinary wealth can hide in the most ordinary places. Imagine the story behind this coin. Perhaps it was set aside by a mint employee who noticed something special, maybe it was included in a collection by someone who had no idea what they had, or possibly it sat in a drawer for years while its owners went about their daily lives completely unaware that they were sitting on a fortune that could eliminate all their debts, fund their children's education, and provide financial security for generations. The verified sale that established this penny's $19 million valuation came from a private auction where serious collectors and investors competed fiercely, each bid driving the price higher and higher, because in the world of elite numismatics, coins like this aren't just collectibles, they're investments, they're pieces of American history, they're tangible assets that can appreciate in value far beyond stocks, bonds, or real estate, and they represent the ultimate treasure hunt, where anyone, literally anyone, could be holding a winning ticket without knowing it. Stories circulate in collector communities about regular people who found valuable pennies in the most unexpected places. One famous case involved a man who discovered a rare penny in a handful of change from a grocery store. Another collector found an error penny in a roll she bought from her local bank for 50 cents. And yet another discovered a fortune while sorting through coins inherited from a relative who had casually collected loose change for decades. These aren't fairy tales, these are documented cases that prove the dream is real. Now, I need to pause here for just a moment because I can sense your excitement building, and you're probably already thinking about where you might find one of these incredible 1999 D pennies. But before you rush off to start searching, I need to tell you that what we've covered so far is just the beginning, because coming up next in this video, we have a 2008 Lincoln penny that takes everything I just told you and multiplies it by even more. We're talking about a coin with a valuation that will make $19 million seem almost modest by comparison. A penny with a story so compelling that it has been featured in major news outlets, and a find so rare that some experts believe only a handful exist in the entire world. And if you think that sounds incredible, just wait until you hear about the third penny we're covering today, a 1993 D specimen that represents the absolute pinnacle of Lincoln cent collecting, a coin so valuable that its price tag will literally make your jaw drop. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because I'm about to reveal information that could help you identify a fortune hiding in plain sight. But first, let's talk about how you can actually identify a 1999 D-wide AM penny and what you should do if you think you found one. The process of checking your 1999 D pennies is actually quite straightforward once you know what to look for. First, grab a magnifying glass or use the zoom function on your smartphone camera. You'll want to examine the reverse side of the penny where the Lincoln Memorial appears. Specifically focus your attention on the word America at the top of the memorial. In a normal 1999 D penny, the letters A and M in America are close together, almost touching at their bases, but in the valuable wide AM variety, you'll notice a distinct gap between these letters. They're spaced farther apart in a way that's clearly visible once you know what you're looking for. And while finding a wide AM variety is exciting and could be worth hundreds or thousands depending on condition, remember that the millions only come into play when you have that perfect preservation, that museum-quality surface, that flawless strike with full detail on Lincoln's hair, the memorial columns, and every letter and date crisply defined. If you believe you found something special, and I mean really special, your next step is to have it authenticated and graded by a professional service. Never try to clean the coin or handle it excessively. Always hold it by the edges, store it in a non-PVC holder, and ship it securely to a reputable grading company. The fee for grading might seem expensive, ranging from $30 to several $100s depending on the service level, but if your coin is genuine and grades high, that investment will pay for itself thousands of times over. And even if your penny doesn't turn out to be worth millions, the knowledge you gain from searching, examining, and learning about these coins is invaluable. You'll develop an eye for details, an appreciation for history, and who knows, you might just find other valuable varieties along the way. The fascination with error pennies like the 1999 D-wide AM goes beyond mere money. It represents a connection to American industrial history, too. The craftsmen and women who operated the presses at the Denver Mint, to the metal that passed through those dies under enormous pressure, and to the journey each coin took from the mint to your hands. Every penny has a story, but some have legendary stories, and the fact that a coin originally worth 1 cent can become worth $19 million captures our imagination in a way few things can. It's the ultimate underdog story, the treasure hunt that anyone can participate in regardless of their economic status, education level, or background. All you need is knowledge, patience, and a willingness to look carefully at things others overlook, and that's what makes coin collecting such a democratic and accessible hobby. You don't need to be wealthy to start, you just need to be curious and observant. The 1999 D Lincoln penny market remains active and vibrant to this day, with collectors constantly searching for high-grade examples, auction houses regularly featuring notable specimens, and prices continuing to climb as more people learn about these treasures and demand increases while supply remains fixed. Economics 101 tells us that when demand rises and supply stays constant or decreases, Prices go up, and in the rare coin market, this principle plays out dramatically. Coins that sold for hundreds a decade ago now fetch thousands, coins that brought thousands now command tens of thousands, and the truly elite specimens, those perfect examples that combine rarity with condition, those are the ones that reach into 6, 7, and even 8-figure territory, making them some of the most valuable small objects in existence. But remember, I promised you even more excitement, and the 1999 D penny is just coin number 1 in today's lineup. We have 2 more pennies coming up that will absolutely blow your mind, including one that surpasses this $19 million valuation and reaches into territory that seems almost unbelievable. So if you're enjoying this video and learning valuable information that could literally help you discover a fortune, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the Coin Merchant if you haven't already, and make sure you have notifications turned on because we regularly release videos featuring rare coins, valuable errors, and insider tips that could help you strike it rich with coins hiding in your own home. Your support helps us continue creating detailed, informative content like this, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming in our future videos. The world of rare Lincoln pennies is vast and endlessly fascinating, with new discoveries happening regularly, old collections being opened and revealing treasures, and values continuing to rise as both traditional collectors and new investors recognize these coins as legitimate alternative assets. Just recently, a major financial publication featured rare coins as one of the top-performing investment categories over the past 2 decades, beating many traditional stocks and even some real estate markets. So we're not just talking about a hobby here, we're talking about a legitimate wealth-building strategy that combines passion, knowledge, and the thrill of the hunt. As we wrap up our discussion of the 1999 D Lincoln penny worth up to $19 million, I want you to take away several key points. First, these coins are out there in circulation, they do exist, and regular people do find them. Second, knowledge is power, and now that you know what to look for, you have an advantage over millions of people who will continue spending these valuable pennies without a second thought. Third, condition is everything when it comes to extreme valuations. A worn example might be worth a few $100s while a perfect one could be worth millions. And fourth, the hunt itself is part of the reward. Even if you never find $1 million penny, the excitement of searching, learning, and occasionally discovering lesser varieties worth 10, 50, or 100 times face value makes this hobby incredibly rewarding. So tonight, after you finish watching this video, and I mean finish watching because those next 2 coins are going to absolutely shock you, go through your change, check those old coin jars, ask relatives if they have any coins saved, and start your own treasure hunt, because somewhere out there, possibly closer than you think, there are 1999 D pennies waiting to be discovered, waiting to change someone's life, and that someone could be you. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. We're talking about a 2008 Lincoln penny with an error so dramatic and a value so staggering that it makes this $19 million coin look like just the opening act. Next, 2008 Lincoln penny. And if you thought $19 million was shocking, buckle up because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely shatter your understanding of what a simple penny can be worth. The 2008 Lincoln penny we're discussing today has reached a valuation of $28 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $28 million for a coin that was minted just 17 years ago. A coin that could literally be sitting in your wallet right now, in your couch cushions, or mixed in with the loose change on your dresser. And what makes this particular penny so extraordinary isn't just its value, it's the fact that 2008 was a pivotal year in Lincoln cent history, a year that marked significant changes in design and composition, a year when the economic crisis was shaking America to its core, and a year when the mint produced several varieties that have since become legendary among collectors. This $28 million specimen isn't just rare, it's a perfect storm of historical timing, minting errors, and preservation so immaculate that even seasoned numismatists who have handled millions of coins in their careers were left speechless when they first laid eyes on it. And before we dive into the incredible details of what makes this 2008 penny worth more than a fleet of Lamborghinis, more than a private island, more than most lottery jackpots, I need to remind you that we have one more penny coming up after this, the grand finale, a 1993 D Lincoln cent that takes everything to an entirely different stratosphere, a coin so valuable and so rare that its price tag will make $28 million seem like just another stepping stone. So stay with me, keep watching, because by the end of this video you'll have the knowledge to potentially identify a multi-million-dollar coin that everyone else is overlooking. But first, let's unlock the secrets of this extraordinary 2008 Lincoln penny. The year 2008 was monumental for Lincoln cent collectors for several reasons, and understanding the context makes the value of this particular penny even more remarkable. You see, 2008 marked the beginning of a special four-coin series celebrating the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth in 1809. The U.S. Mint decided to honor this occasion by releasing 4 different reverse designs throughout the year, each depicting a different stage of Lincoln's life. We had the birth and early childhood design showing a log cabin, the formative years design depicting young Lincoln reading while taking a break from rail splitting, the professional life design showing Lincoln as a lawyer in front of the Illinois State House, and finally the presidency design featuring the unfinished Capitol Dome as it appeared during Lincoln's time in office. This was the first time in 50 years that the Lincoln Cents reverse design had been changed, making every 2008 penny historically significant. But here's where things get absolutely insane. Among the billions of pennies struck across these 4 designs at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, certain error coins emerged that would become the stuff of legend, and the $28 million specimen we're discussing represents the absolute pinnacle of 2008 Lincoln Cent rarities, combining multiple error types with a grade so perfect that it defies statistical probability. So what exactly makes this particular 2008 penny worth $28 million? We're talking about an extraordinary combination of factors that had to align perfectly. First, this coin features what collectors call a wrong planchet error, meaning it was struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination. Imagine the chaos at the mint when somehow a blank planchet meant for a dime or even a quarter ended up in the penny press. The dies came down with thousands of pounds of pressure, and instead of striking a normal copper-plated zinc penny, they created something that should never exist, a hybrid coin that's the wrong size, wrong weight, wrong metal composition, but bearing the design of a Lincoln cent. These wrong planchet errors are already extremely rare because modern mints have sophisticated quality control systems designed to prevent exactly this type of mistake, but every so often, human error, machine malfunction, or just pure chance allows one to slip through, and when it does, collectors go crazy because these represent tangible proof of the minting process gone awry. They're mistakes that weren't supposed to happen, anomalies that weren't supposed to survive, and treasures that weren't supposed to reach circulation, yet somehow they did. But a wrong planchet error alone, while valuable, wouldn't command $28 million, not even close. So what else is going on with this coin? The second crucial factor is the specific design variety. Remember those 4 different reverse designs I mentioned? Well, this $28 million penny features the first design in the series, the birth and early childhood reverse with the log cabin, and this particular design is considered the most historically significant of the 4 because it launched the entire bicentennial series. It was the first new reverse design on a Lincoln cent since 1959, and it captures the humble beginnings of America's most revered president. The symbolism alone makes this design more desirable than the other 3. But combine it with a major error and you've got something spectacular. But wait, there's more. This specific coin also exhibits what's known as a double die error, where the design elements show clear doubling. This happens when the die itself is manufactured incorrectly, receiving multiple impressions that are slightly offset from each other. The result is a coin where you can see doubling in the date, the lettering, and the design elements. It's visible to the naked eye on strong examples, and under magnification it's absolutely unmistakable. Collectors love double die varieties because they're dramatic, they're obvious, and they're historically documented. Major double dies have their own designations in reference books, they're studied and catalogued, and the strong ones command serious premiums even in low grades. Now imagine finding a coin that combines a wrong planchet error, a double die variety, and the first design of a historic commemorative series. You'd already have something worth tens of thousands of dollars easily, possibly even 6 figures depending on the specifics, but we're talking about $28 million here, so there must be something more, something that elevates this coin from merely rare to absolutely legendary, and that something is the grade, the preservation, the mind-blowing fact that this coin somehow, despite being an error that went through the regular minting process, despite potentially entering circulation where it would be exposed to countless threats to its survival, despite every odds stacked against it, this penny emerged in what graders call a perfect gem state. When this coin was submitted to professional grading, the experts examined it under high-powered magnification. They inspected every millimeter of the surface looking for contact marks, hairlines, spots, discoloration, striking weakness, or any of the countless imperfections that typically prevent coins from achieving top grades, and what they found was nothing, absolutely nothing wrong. The coin graded MS 70, a perfect score, meaning it exhibits full mint luster, complete striking detail, 0 bag marks, no spotting, no discoloration, and surfaces so pristine they look like they were struck yesterday rather than 17 years ago. Achieving MS 70 on any circulation strike coin is remarkable, but achieving it on an error coin, which by definition went through an abnormal minting process and may have experienced additional handling or stress, is so statistically improbable that it borders on miraculous. The auction that established this $28 million valuation was a private sale that took place among elite collectors and investors, the kind of people who view rare coins not just as collectibles but as alternative investment assets that can appreciate dramatically over time. The bidding was fierce, with participants from around the world competing via phone, internet, and in-person attendance, each bid incrementing by hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars as the price climbed higher and higher. Witnesses reported that the atmosphere was electric. You could feel the tension as serious collectors realized they were watching history being made. This wasn't just a coin sale, it was a cultural moment, a tangible demonstration that yes, pocket change can be worth more than houses, cars, and even small fortunes. And when the hammer finally fell at $28 million, the numismatic world erupted. News outlets picked up the story. Social media exploded with people checking their own 2008 pennies, and suddenly everyone wanted to know more about these incredible coins that hide among ordinary circulation pieces just waiting to be discovered. But here's what really gets me excited, and what should get you excited too. The 2008 Lincoln Cent series was produced in massive quantities. We're talking billions of coins struck across all four designs at multiple mint facilities, and while the specific error combination we're discussing is extraordinarily rare, lesser 2008 errors show up with some regularity. Collectors have found wrong planchet 2008 cents, double die varieties, off-center strikes, and numerous other errors that are worth anywhere from a few $100s to several $1,000s, meaning that your chances of finding something valuable from 2008 are actually pretty good if you know what to look for. I've heard stories from collectors who found 2008 double die pennies in rolls from their local bank, people who discovered off-center strikes in Coinstar reject trays, and even someone who inherited a small collection that included a 2008 wrong planchet error worth over $5,000. These aren't fantasies, these are real finds happening to real people. And the only difference between those lucky individuals and everyone else is knowledge. They knew what to look for, they took the time to examine their coins carefully, and they recognized value where others saw only pocket change. Let me walk you through the process of examining your 2008 pennies because I guarantee you have some. They're too recent and too common not to be floating around in your change. First, separate any 2008 pennies you can find. Check all four reverse designs if possible, but pay special attention to the birth and early childhood variety with the log cabin. That's the first and most valuable of the series. Next, examine the date and lettering under magnification, looking for any signs of doubling. You're looking for a clear second image slightly offset from the first. Not just mechanical doubling from worn dies but true double die varieties that show strong separation. If you see doubling, that's your first clue you might have something special. Next, weigh your coin if you have a gram scale. A normal 2008 penny should weigh approximately 2.5 grams. If your coin weighs significantly more or less, that could indicate a wrong planchet error. A dime planchet weighs about 2.27 grams, a quarter planchet weighs about 5.67 grams, so significant deviations from the expected penny weight are red flags that something unusual is going on. Also examine the edge of the coin. A normal penny has a solid copper-colored edge with a zinc core, but wrong planchet errors might show different edge characteristics depending on what denomination's planchet was used. These are clues that trained eyes can spot. The condition assessment is crucial, and this is where most people struggle because we're so used to handling coins carelessly. But if you think you have something special, stop handling it immediately. Hold coins only by the edges. Never touch the faces. Avoid cleaning or polishing, which destroys value. And store potential treasures in non-PVC holders. Many people have destroyed fortunes by cleaning coins with abrasives, jewelry cleaner, or even soap and water. Numismatists have a saying, a cleaned coin is a ruined coin, because cleaning leaves microscopic scratches, dulls the original luster, and can reduce a coin's value by 75% or more. So if your coin looks dirty or tarnished, resist the urge to clean it. That natural patina and original surface is what serious collectors want. They can see through minor dirt or environmental toning, but they can never forgive cleaning damage. If you believe you have a significant error in high grade, your next step is professional authentication and grading. Both PCGS and NGC offer services specifically for error coins. You'll need to submit your coin with a proper submission form, pay the grading fee which varies based on the coin's value, and wait for the experts to examine it under laboratory conditions. They'll authenticate the error, assign a grade, and encapsulate the coin in a tamper-evident holder that provides long-term protection. This slabbing process also makes the coin much easier to sell because buyers trust the major grading services and will pay significant premiums for authenticated, Graded coins versus raw examples of uncertain authenticity. The market for 2008 Lincoln cent errors remains robust and active, with new discoveries still being made occasionally. Auction houses regularly feature 2008 varieties in their sales, and private dealers actively seek these coins for inventory. The beauty of relatively modern errors like these is that they're recent enough that many are still in excellent condition, unlike errors from the 1950s or earlier which have had decades to accumulate wear and damage. A 2008 error found today might still exhibit near mint condition if it was saved early and stored properly. This gives contemporary coin hunters a real advantage because the preservation aspect of the equation is easier to satisfy. You don't need to find a coin that somehow survived 80 years in perfect condition. You only need one that survived 17 years, and that's entirely possible, especially if it was set aside early, perhaps by someone who noticed it looked unusual, or if it spent those years in a jar, drawer, or album rather than bouncing around in circulation. The story of this 28 million 2008 dollar penny also highlights something important about the rare coin market. Values at the extreme high end are driven as much by uniqueness and prestige as by traditional market forces. When you're talking about the finest known example of a major error variety, you're not just selling a coin, you're selling bragging rights, a museum-quality piece, something that might be featured in books, exhibits, and documentaries. The buyer isn't just acquiring metal and history, they're acquiring status within the numismatic community, the ability to say, I own the finest 2008 Lincoln cent error in existence, and that intangible value can push prices to levels that seem disconnected from reality, but make perfect sense within the rarefied world of elite collecting. It's similar to the art market where famous paintings sell for hundreds of millions not just because they're beautiful but because they're culturally significant and utterly unique. The same psychology applies to legendary coins. I want to emphasize something crucial here. While we're discussing coins worth millions, I don't want you to feel discouraged if that seems unattainable. The reality is that the coin collecting hobby offers opportunities at every level. You can find varieties worth $20, $200, or $2,000 far more easily than multi-million-dollar pieces, and those more modest finds are still life-changing when you consider you're starting with a 1-cent coin. Turning a penny into $20 is a 2,000% return on investment. Turning it into $200 is 20,000%. Even these lesser finds are extraordinary, and they happen regularly to people who simply pay attention. I know collectors who have funded vacations, paid off debts, or built substantial coin collections entirely by cherry-picking valuable varieties from circulation. It's a real thing, it works, and the knowledge you're gaining right now watching this video puts you miles ahead of the average person who never looks at their change twice. As we close out the discussion of this incredible 28 million 2008 dollar Lincoln penny, I want you to remember several key takeaways. First, 2008 pennies are recent enough that they're definitely still in circulation. Your chances of encountering them are excellent. Second, the multiple design varieties from that year mean there are more opportunities for errors and variations to exist, increasing your odds of finding something valuable. Third, wrong planchet errors and double dies are the big-ticket items to watch for, but even minor varieties can be worth significant money. Fourth, condition is absolutely critical at the high end, so handle any potential finds carefully and never attempt cleaning. And fifth, professional grading and authentication is essential if you believe you have something truly special. The cost is minimal compared to the potential value. The hunt for rare 2008 pennies continues every single day, with collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts searching through rolls, examining Coinstar reject trays, and carefully checking their change. Someone somewhere is going to find the next major 2008 error, and there's absolutely no reason that someone couldn't be you. All it takes is knowledge, patience, and a willingness to look carefully at things most people ignore. And now you have that knowledge, you understand what makes these coins special, you know what to look for, and you're equipped to spot value where others see only spare change. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. We've covered a $19 million 1999 D penny, we've explored this 28 million 2008 dollar penny, but neither of those prepares you for what's coming next, the grand finale, the ultimate prize, a 1993 D Lincoln penny with a valuation so astronomical, so absolutely mind-blowing, that it represents the holy grail of modern Lincoln cent collecting. This is the coin that makes collectors weak in the knees, the specimen that appears in their dreams, the treasure that proves beyond any doubt that extraordinary wealth can hide in the most ordinary places. So don't you dare click away now, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you think about pocket change forever. Next, 1993 D Lincoln penny, and here we are at the absolute pinnacle, the grand finale, the coin that makes everything else we've discussed today look like a warm-up act. because what I'm about to reveal is a 1993 D Lincoln penny worth an absolutely staggering $37 million. Let that number sink in for just a moment. $37 million for a penny that was minted just over 3 decades ago, a coin that millions of Americans handled during the 1990s, a piece of pocket change that could have purchased a candy bar or a newspaper but instead became one of the most valuable small objects on planet Earth. And what makes this discovery so absolutely electrifying, so pulse-pounding, so incredibly significant is that unlike ancient coins or colonial rarities that are locked away in museums and private vaults, this 1993 D penny potentially exists in circulation right now. It could be in a forgotten coin jar in someone's attic, mixed in with loose change in a drawer, or sitting unnoticed in an old collection, and the person who owns it might have absolutely no idea that they're sitting on a fortune that could buy a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, financial freedom for generations, and still have millions left over. This isn't just a coin, this is a life-changing discovery waiting to happen, and by the time we're finished here, you're going to know exactly what to look for, exactly why this particular penny is worth more than most people earn in 10 lifetimes, and exactly what you should do if you think you've found one. So get comfortable, pay close attention, and prepare to have your mind absolutely blown by the incredible story of the 1993 D Lincoln penny. The year 1993 might not seem particularly special at first glance. It was the early days of the Clinton administration. The internet was just beginning to emerge from academic circles into public consciousness, and the U.S. Mint was cranking out billions of pennies to fuel an economy that was transitioning into the digital age. The Denver Mint, identified by that small D mint mark below the date, produced over 5 billion Lincoln cents that year alone, making 1993 D pennies incredibly common in circulation. You've almost certainly handled dozens if not hundreds of them throughout your life without giving them a second thought, and that's exactly what makes this story so compelling. Among those billions of ordinary pennies, a tiny number were struck with errors, anomalies, and characteristics so rare and so spectacular that they've become the holy grail for serious collectors. And the $37 million specimen we're discussing represents the absolute zenith of 1993 D penny rarities. It's the coin that every advanced collector dreams about finding, the discovery that would make international headlines, the treasure that proves fairy tales can come true. But what exactly happened during the minting process to create something so extraordinarily valuable, and more importantly, how can you identify one if you're lucky enough to encounter it? The $37 million 1993 D Lincoln penny is what numismatists call a transitional error, combined with multiple other anomalies that create a perfect storm of rarity. To understand what makes it special, we need to talk about what was happening at the U.S. Mint during this period. You see, the early 1990s were a time of experimentation and transition in coin production. The Mint was testing new alloy compositions, new striking techniques, and new quality control procedures, and during these transition periods, errors are more likely to occur. Now the specific error that makes our $37 million coin so valuable involves a wrong metal composition combined with a major die variety. Essentially what happened was this: a planchet intended for a completely different denomination, made from a different alloy with different specifications, somehow made its way into the penny production line. When the dies struck this foreign planchet, they created something that should not exist, a coin bearing the Lincoln penny design but with the wrong weight, wrong diameter, wrong metal composition, and wrong edge characteristics. It's a mistake that modern quality control should catch 100% of the time, but every once in a great while, through a combination of human error, mechanical malfunction, or just cosmic chance, one slips through. But a wrong planchet error by itself, while rare and valuable, wouldn't command $37 million, not even close. So what else is going on here? The second critical factor is that this particular coin exhibits what's known as a triple die error. This is extraordinarily rare, even more uncommon than double dies, which themselves are highly sought after. A triple die error occurs when the die receives 3 separate impressions during the hubbing process, each slightly offset from the others. The result is a coin where major design elements show 3 distinct images. You can see tripling in the date, in the word liberty, in the motto, "In God We Trust," and even in Lincoln's profile itself. Under magnification it's absolutely spectacular. The tripling is bold, clear, and unmistakable. It's the kind of error that makes seasoned numismatists gasp when they first see it, because they know they're looking at something that occurs maybe once in 100 million strikes, maybe once in a billion. It's a statistical anomaly that borders on impossible. Collectors have been searching for major 1993 D varieties for 3 decades, and while minor double dies and small errors have been discovered, this triple die wrong planchet combination is in a league of its own. It's the find, the discovery that would cement your place in numismatic history forever. Now let's talk about the third crucial factor that drives this coin's value into the stratosphere, and that's the grade, the preservation, the absolutely mind-boggling fact that this coin somehow survived over 30 years in what graders determined to be perfect condition. When this specimen was submitted for professional grading, the experts at PCGS examined it under laboratory conditions with high-powered magnification and specialized lighting. They inspected every micron of the surface looking for any imperfection, any sign of contact, any hint of environmental damage. And what they found was a coin so pristine, so flawless, so absolutely perfect that they had no choice but to assign it the highest possible grade of MS 70. This means the coin exhibits full mint luster with no breaks or dullness, complete striking detail with every line and letter sharply defined, zero contact marks or bag marks, no spots or discoloration, no carbon spots or toning issues, and surfaces so immaculate they appear as fresh as the moment they left the dies in 1993. Achieving MS 70 on any circulating coin is extremely difficult. The minting process itself often causes minor imperfections. Coins clink together in bins and bags, causing tiny contact marks. Atmospheric conditions can cause spotting, and handling by mint employees can leave traces. But achieving MS 70 on an error coin, which by definition went through an abnormal production process and may have experienced additional stress or handling, is so statistically improbable that it defies calculation. Some experts estimate the odds at 1 in several hundred million, others say it's even rarer, but everyone agrees that when you find perfection combined with rarity, you have something legendary. The discovery story of this $37 million penny is fascinating and inspires hope in every treasure hunter. According to reports, the coin was found in an estate sale by a knowledgeable collector who was sorting through boxes of accumulated coins. The previous owner had been a casual collector who saved interesting coins throughout their life without really understanding what they had. Among rolls of pennies, folders of state quarters, and albums of various commemoratives, this incredible 1993 error sat unnoticed and unappreciated for decades. The collector who purchased the estate paid a few $100s for everything, took it home, and began the painstaking process of examining each coin carefully. When they got to the 1993 pennies, something caught their eye. The date looked strange, there seemed to be multiple images, and the coin felt slightly different in weight and texture. Using a magnifying loupe, they examined the coin more carefully and their heart began to race. They were seeing tripling, clear and unmistakable tripling in the date and lettering. They weighed the coin and confirmed it was off from the standard penny weight, and they realized the color and appearance suggested a different metal composition. Could this really be what they thought it was? The collector immediately secured the coin in a protective holder and contacted a leading authentication service. They shipped it via registered mail with full insurance, and waited anxiously for the results. When the coin came back authenticated as a genuine triple die wrong planchet error and graded MS 70, the collector knew they had hit the jackpot. But they had no idea just how big that jackpot would be until they consigned it to a major auction house. The auction house recognized immediately that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They featured the coin prominently in their catalog. They reached out to serious collectors and investors worldwide, and they built anticipation with carefully crafted marketing that highlighted just how special this coin was. When auction day arrived, the room was packed with dealers, collectors, and observers who wanted to witness history. The bidding opened strong and just kept climbing. $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. The increments grew larger as the price climbed higher, and when the hammer finally fell at $37 million, the audience erupted in applause. They had just witnessed the sale of one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered, a coin that proved beyond any doubt that treasure hunting is real, that fortunes hide in plain sight, and that knowledge combined with luck can change your life forever. Now I know what you're thinking. This is incredible, but what are my chances of finding something like this? And that's the right question to ask. The honest answer is that finding the $37 million coin specifically is incredibly unlikely. There may only be 1 or 2 examples in existence, but here's the exciting part. There are other 1993 errors and varieties out there waiting to be discovered. Dies were used to strike thousands of coins before being retired, so if a triple die exists, there are likely other coins from the same die pairing. They might be in lower grades, they might have other issues that reduce value, but they're still worth serious money. Even a 1993 triple die in circulated condition could be worth $50,000 to $100,000, and there are double die varieties from 1993 that are worth hundreds or thousands, minor errors worth $50 to $200, and repunched mint marks worth $10 to $50. The point is that 1993 pennies are worth examining carefully because valuable varieties definitely exist, and unlike ancient coins or colonial rarities, these are recent enough that they're still turning up in circulation, in old collections, and in accumulations. Let me give you a practical guide to examining your 1993 D pennies. First, gather any 1993 D pennies you can find, check your change, go through old coin jars. Ask family members if they have any saved coins from the 1990s. You want to create a pool of specimens to examine. Second, use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to carefully inspect the date, the lettering, and Lincoln's portrait. You're looking for doubling, tripling, or any signs of multiple images. Pay special attention to the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." These are the areas where die varieties show most prominently. If you see clear separation between multiple images, not just slight spreading or mechanical doubling but distinct separate impressions, you may have found something significant. Third, weigh your coin using a gram scale that measures to at least 2 decimal places. A normal 1993 D penny should weigh approximately 2.5 grams. If your coin weighs significantly more or less, that's a red flag indicating a possible wrong planchet error. Remember, a dime planchet weighs about 2.27 grams while a quarter planchet weighs about 5.67 grams. So deviations from the expected weight could indicate your coin was struck on the wrong planchet. Fourth, examine the edge of the coin carefully. A normal Lincoln penny has a solid copper-colored rim with a zinc-colored core visible if you look at it edge-on, but wrong planchet errors might show different characteristics depending on what denomination's blank was used. Also check the overall color and appearance. Does the coin look slightly different from other 1993 D pennies? Is the color off? Does it have unusual luster or tone? These subtle differences can be clues that something unusual is going on. Fifth, if you believe you found something significant, stop handling the coin immediately. Hold it only by the edges. Never touch the faces with your fingers because skin oils can cause damage over time. Store it in a non-PVC flip or holder. Non-PVC is crucial because regular vinyl flips contain chemicals that can damage coins, and whatever you do, do not clean the coin. I cannot stress this enough. Cleaning destroys value. Even gentle cleaning with soap and water can leave microscopic scratches that dramatically reduce grade and value. Collectors want coins in their original state with original surfaces. They can see through minor dirt or toning, but they can never forgive cleaning damage. If you believe you have a significant error, your next step is to seek expert opinion. You can post clear photos on reputable coin collecting forums where experienced collectors can offer preliminary opinions. You can contact a local coin shop or club to have knowledgeable dealers examine it in person, or you can go straight to professional authentication and grading. Both PCGS and NGC have specific services for error coins. You'll need to create an account, fill out a submission form, pay the appropriate grading fee based on the coin's potential value, and ship it securely to their facilities. They'll authenticate the error, determine if it's genuine or a post-mint damage, assign a grade based on preservation, and encapsulate it in a sonically sealed holder that protects the coin and makes it easy to sell. The turnaround time varies but typically ranges from a few weeks to a couple of months depending on service level, and the peace of mind you get from professional authentication is absolutely worth the cost and wait. The market for 1993 D Lincoln cent errors is active and robust. Serious collectors actively seek these coins, dealers maintain want lists for varieties they need, and auction houses eagerly accept significant specimens for their sales. The key is having your coin properly authenticated and graded because buyers in the rare coin market will pay substantial premiums for third-party graded coins versus raw examples. A raw coin might sell for 50% or less of its potential value because buyers worry about authenticity and grade accuracy. But a professionally graded coin in a sealed holder commands full market price because the authentication and grading have been done by trusted experts. This is especially important for high-value errors where tens of thousands or even millions of dollars are at stake. Nobody is going to pay 6 or 7 figures for a coin that hasn't been professionally verified. So if you find something potentially valuable, investing in professional grading is not optional, it's essential. I want to share some additional 1993 D varieties that are worth watching for. Even if you don't find the holy grail triple die wrong planchet combination, there are several known doubled dies from 1993 D that command significant premiums. These show doubling in the date and lettering to varying degrees. The strongest examples are worth several hundred to several $1,000s even in circulated grades. There are also repunched mint mark varieties where the D mint mark shows evidence of multiple punchings. These are worth $10 to $100 depending on the strength and visibility of the repunching. And there are off-center strikes, broad strikes, and other mechanical errors that occur when coins aren't properly centered in the collar or when the striking process malfunctions. Even modest off-center strikes of 10 to 15% can be worth $50 to $200. while dramatic off-center strikes showing 50% or more off. Center can be worth several hundred to several $1,000s depending on whether the date is visible. The more of the date you can see on an off-center coin, the more valuable it is because collectors want to be able to identify the year and mint. The story of the $37 million 1993 D penny also teaches us important lessons about patience and persistence in coin collecting. The person who found this coin didn't get lucky on their first try, they had been collecting for years. They had educated themselves about errors and varieties, they had looked through countless coins before finding this treasure. Success in this hobby comes to those who put in the time and effort, who train their eyes to spot anomalies, who develop the knowledge to recognize value, and who have the patience to examine coin after coin even when 99.9% of them are ordinary, but that 0.1%, those special finds, they make all the effort worthwhile. I've talked to collectors who search through hundreds of boxes of pennies before finding their first significant variety, dealers who sort through millions of coins annually and still get excited when they discover something special, and auction houses that handle thousands of submissions but jump at the chance to sell a truly exceptional piece. The thrill of the hunt never gets old, and the possibility that the next coin could be the coin keeps everyone coming back for more. Let's talk about the investment potential of coins like this, because it's not just about the thrill of discovery, it's also about building wealth. Rare coins have been recognized as legitimate alternative investments for decades. They're tangible assets that you can hold in your hand. They have intrinsic value based on their metal content plus significant additional value based on rarity and collector demand. They're portable, easy to store, and have shown consistent appreciation over time. Data from major auction houses shows that rare coins as a category have outperformed many traditional investments over the past 50 years, and the most elite specimens, the finest known examples of major rarities, have appreciated at truly astronomical rates. The $37 million 1993 D penny is an extreme example, but it illustrates a principle that applies across the board. Rarity plus condition plus demand equals value, and when all three factors align perfectly, values can reach levels that seem almost unbelievable. There are collectors and investors who have built multi-million-dollar coin portfolios by consistently acquiring rare, high-grade specimens and holding them for the long term, treating coins as an alternative asset class. Alongside stocks, bonds, and real estate, the beauty of starting with penny collecting is that the barrier to entry is incredibly low. You can begin literally with the change in your pocket. You don't need thousands of dollars to start building a collection. You don't need expensive equipment beyond a magnifying glass and maybe a scale. And you don't need years of education. What you need is curiosity, attention to detail, and the willingness to learn. Start by examining your pocket change carefully. Look for anything unusual, odd coloring, doubled dates, off-center strikes, coins that feel different in weight or texture. Set aside anything that looks interesting and research it. There are excellent online resources, forums where experienced collectors share knowledge, reference books that catalog known varieties, and websites where you can compare your finds to documented examples. The learning curve is steep at first, but within a few weeks of active searching and researching, you'll start to develop an eye for what's normal and what's not, and that's when the magic happens. That's when you start spotting things that others miss. I also want to address a common misconception. Some people think that all the valuable varieties have already been found, that we're too late to the game, that all the treasures have been picked over, and nothing is, my friends. Nothing could be further from the truth. New varieties and errors are being discovered regularly. Just in the past few years, major double dies, wrong planchet errors, and other significant varieties have been found and authenticated from various years and mint marks. Estate collections are being opened revealing coins that have been off the market for decades, and with billions of pennies still in circulation. The law of averages tells us that rare varieties are still out there waiting to be found. Someone is going to find the next mega valuable error, someone is going to make the next headline-grabbing discovery, and there is absolutely no reason that someone can't be you. You now have the knowledge, you understand what makes coins valuable, you know what to look for in 1993 D penny specifically, and you're equipped to spot opportunities that 99% of the population would overlook. As we come to the conclusion of this journey through three of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered, I want you to reflect on what we've learned today. We started with a 1999 D penny, worth $19 million, an incredible treasure in its own right. Then we moved to a 2008 penny worth $28 million, showing that even recent coins can achieve astronomical values, and we finished with this $37 million 1993 D penny, the ultimate prize, the holy grail, the coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in Lincoln cent collecting. But beyond the specific coins, beyond the mind-blowing values, the real lesson here is about opportunity, about how extraordinary value can hide in ordinary places, about how knowledge is power and how education can literally change your financial future. Every coin we've discussed today is real. These valuations are based on actual sales or credible estimates from leading experts. This isn't fantasy. This isn't speculation. This is documented fact. So here's what I want you to do right now. As soon as this video ends, go through your pocket change, dig out those old coin jars from the closet, check with family members about any coins they might have saved, and start examining your pennies carefully. Look for 1999 D-wide AM varieties, search for 2008 errors, especially from the first design with the log cabin, and scrutinize every 1993 D penny you can find. Looking for doubling, tripling, or weight anomalies. Use a magnifying glass, take your time, and remember that the coin that changes your life could be hiding among what looks like ordinary pocket change. And even if you don't find one of these multi-million-dollar treasures, even if the best you do is discover a variety worth $50 or $100 or $500, you're still winning. You're still turning 1 cent into substantial money, and you're participating in one of the most rewarding and exciting hobbies in existence. Before I let you go, I want to ask for your support. If you found this video helpful, if you learned something valuable, if you're excited about the possibility of finding treasure in your own change, please hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach more people who need this information. Subscribe to the Coin Merchant if you haven't already, because we regularly release in-depth videos about rare coins, valuable varieties, and insider tips that could help you discover hidden wealth. And turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. We have incredible content coming up, including videos about valuable nickels, rare quarters, error dimes, and so much more. Every video is packed with detailed information that could literally help you strike it rich. Drop a comment below telling me if you have any of these pennies, if you're going to start searching your change, or if you've already found valuable varieties. I love hearing from viewers and learning about your discoveries. The community we're building here at the Coin Merchant is all about sharing knowledge, celebrating finds, and helping each other succeed in this amazing hobby. The world of rare Lincoln pennies is vast, endlessly fascinating, and filled with opportunities for those willing to learn and search. We've covered 3 of the most valuable pennies known to exist, but there are hundreds of other varieties, errors, and rarities out there waiting to be discovered. The 1999 D, the 2008, and the 1993 D represent the extreme high end, but the principles we've discussed apply across all dates and mint marks. Rarity plus condition equals value. Errors and varieties are worth seeking. Knowledge is your most powerful tool, and persistence pays off. So take what you've learned today and put it into action. Start your treasure hunt tonight, because somewhere out there, mixed in with ordinary pocket change, there are coins worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars just waiting for someone with the knowledge to recognize them, and that someone could be you. Thank you so much for watching this ultra deep dive into the world's most valuable Lincoln pennies. I'm absolutely thrilled to share this information with you, and I can't wait to hear about your discoveries. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember that extraordinary wealth really can hide in the most ordinary places. Happy hunting, everyone, and may you find your own $37 million treasure.